revision would have been done, that would have been done for sure. That we are very clear about it. But prima facie, the most terrific suggestion which I definitely want to give is that don't try to discount any topic, because IC has been very keen and very cautious in touching upon those areas which they always believe that student may tend to miss out. So don't do a selective study. For example, when I talk about subject like taxation, be it direct tax or indirect tax for that matter, for GST perspective, don't just focus on input tax credit value of supply. Also do the topics like tax invoice, credit note, e-waybill, all those topics do it. Don't just miss out on any interesting topic. That would have been done for sure. That we are very clear about it. But every topic has got its own set of importance. So don't miss out on any topic. In the same manner, even in income tax, I somehow tend to find students, a lot of them just doing heads of income and just telling that my syllabus is done. But don't ever do that. It's not just about heads of income. We also have a lot of beautiful topics like TDS, TCS, return of income. Very, very important and very practical areas. So don't do a selective study. That is advice number one. Advice number two, which I definitely want to give you, is that those topics, what you already prepared, ensure that you plan the revision in the most effective manner. That is very, very important. And especially theory subjects. Please ensure that whatever topics you are weak at, just write down, prepare a short summary notes of that so that it's easy for you to recall and revise. That's very important. And sticking to my subject tax, in GST, you will find a lot of interesting areas where tax invoice, e-waybill, you might find some topics as dry topics and all. But let me tell you, they are not dry topics. They are very practical topics. So wherever you have got a sense of doubt in terms of what is the issue there, just try to prepare a short summary notes in your language, in your words, so that it'll be easy for you to revise subsequently. And all said and done, this couple of weeks, stay away from social media platforms and all other diverting sources so that you can completely focus on your studies and ensure that you are not diverted at any cost. Just a matter of 2 weeks to go. May 15th, the countdown starts. It's just 15 days to go. So ensure that you utilize your time in the most effective manner. No problem. If IPL is gone, one more season will come. If any Big Boss program is gone, no problem. One more season will come. Anything is gone, definitely will come back. Now, don't tell me, sir, attempt is gone, attempt will come back. But that's a cost of 6 months, which is very, very costly. Don't dare to tell that statement, one more attempt will come. 6 months is a very, very costly affair. Don't try to think about it. Don't even have a second thought about it. Just tell your brain, this is the first and the last attempt which I'm going to target. And at any cost, this attempt itself, I have to finish, I will finish. Only then you'll give your best shot. That's very, very important. I mean, you would have seen a lot of movies, right? I mean, you already are highly inspired students, professional students. You would have seen a lot of movie like, example, Check the movie you would have seen. Shah Rukh Khan in the end, he stays one dialogue. आज आप ऐसा गेम खेलो जिंदगी में आज तक कभी नहीं खेला ऐसा गेम खेलो. So in the same manner, the way you think that this is the last attempt of your life, prepare in that way and give your best shot. Then things will happen. Might sound dramatic, but very true. That is when things will actually happen. And I don't want to talk much more from my end, but I want to leave the session to you guys so that whatever queries you have, what you want to discuss, you can feel free to ask. And somebody is asking, say some important chapter. My dear friend, already I told so many important chapters during so many sessions, especially indirect taxes, value of supply, input tax credit, time of supply, tax invoice, so many topics are there. Income tax for that matter, all the heads of income and TDS. And if you ask a person like Shivateja, what is important, I will tell everything is important. Because anything can come in the exam. So no games with the institute, anything can come in the exam. Whenever we say something important, that is only based on past trend, what kind of questions are coming in the exam. But there is nothing called this is important, this is not important. This we won't study, this we will study. It's only based on past analysis. Any faculty for that matter, any subject matter expert faculty who's teaching you will tell only based on past exam trend analysis. That's it. Not based on important and not important. So please keep that point in mind. And one more point I want to tell you before I leave the session to you is that, friends, in our Indigolearn platform, we have put up on YouTube all the subject RTPs, revision test papers. You might ask, sir, RTP is already there online. Why is it put up again on the Indigolearn platform? The reason is very simple. There are some tricky questions in RTP where understanding them, evaluating them is very important. For that reason, we have ensured that, excuse me. For that reason, we have ensured that we have covered that RTP also. Discussion has been done for various subjects on the YouTube platform. And for subject like tax, we have hosted amendments video also there. Now, student might get one doubt, sir, when you're talking about amendments, isn't that the original videos are not amended, only amendments are video is there? Not really. Original videos, what you have seen, already covers all the amendments. Apart from that, we have released a separate amendments video so that it becomes very handy and comfortable during the course of discussion. And it becomes easy for you to revise. For that reason, we have given a separate amendments video also. Yeah.
Thanks, Yuteja. Yogita, can we have your?
I have not completed last two chapters in
how
GST.
How should we prepare your?
And which?
Sorry for this. I think Shivteja got mute. Yogita, hi.
Yeah, fine. So my dear friend, let me tell you very clearly, there is nothing called which chapter I have to do. Definitely both the chapters have to be done. Payment of tax returns, both are important. And definitely from both the topic, question will come. From returns topic, there are interesting amendments, especially the maximum late fees, what cap has been put. From payment of tax, a question can come from electronic, credit ledger, cash ledger, transfer of balance. So they're all important. So don't miss out any points. So every topic is important. Don't do a selective study.
Okay, thanks, Yuteja.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we'll take up questions subsequently. We have Yogita is also here, and she has also been mentoring students. So she has a lot of things to share with you on how to prepare and what to do in these last 15 days so that you are very well prepared for your examination.
Thank you, Suvaji. Hello. Yeah. So see, it's the last lap of your preparation now. It's just 14 more days remaining. So at this time, I would really suggest that you go with a plan. So as much as you have already studied, see, the most difficult part of your preparation, it's already done. It's over. You've taken the coaching, you've completed your coaching, you have done the preparation, you've done the first reading I'm expecting. Okay, so the most difficult part where you have to understand all the concepts and everything, that's done. It's just 14 more days remaining, and then you have your examination. So in these 14 days, go with a plan, give your best, basically just leave no regrets, So maybe if you're giving one group, then, divide the entire plan into three days and revise whatever you have completed. Okay. And if you're giving both the groups, then I'm expecting you must have started your revision already. And then apart from that, whatever days are remaining, give 2 to 3 days per subject and just revise it. So basically you have 24 hours. So try to give 10 to 12 hours at least, as much as possible. If you can increase to 15 hours, there's nothing like it. You will only benefit yourself and you will only thank yourself. Right. So just try to do that. And see, you must have already prepared, I'm expecting. So at this time, maybe try not to take up any new topics, because this is the time I believe that you have to polish what you have already studied. Okay. So if at all you are left with any spare time, then maybe take up any new topics. But otherwise, first of all, give priority to revising what you already studied, because that is going to reap the most benefit. And you'll basically be able to retain whatever you have studied. Right. So that is most important. Okay, and apart from that, very, very important that you do the RTP, which we have uploaded. So please do check that out. Apart from that, make sure that you're doing amendments. In our law also, in our company law also, there are certain amendments, very minor amendments are there for this attempt. But the December 21 examination amendments, the questions were not mostly asked on those amendments. There were huge amount of amendments for the December 21 examination. Right. So please make sure that you have checked not only the amendments for the May exam, but also for the December 21 examination. They're important for this attempt. Right. And apart from that, make sure that you know what is the exam pattern. It should not happen that you're sitting in the examination and it is the first time you're seeing an exam paper. You should know exactly what kind of questions come. You should know exactly which chapter is covered in which question. Okay. So with respect to that also, you should know what are the A category chapters, the B category chapters. So if you haven't studied that already, if you don't already know that, then make sure that you're checking it. Okay, so we already have that ABC analysis on our platform, so you can definitely check it out. It will help you understand which chapters are most important. So at this time, because you're going to give only 3 to 4 days per subject, make sure that you're revising in that sequence where you're doing the A category chapters first, and then the B category chapters, and then the C category chapters. See, the most important thing is that we want to bag maximum marks in the least amount of time that we have. Okay, and then of course, if you're left with more time, then you can explore other things. But mostly, the course is so vast that you won't be left with enough time. Okay, so 3 days per subject, go with that plan, stick with that plan, and trust me, at this point, as much as you're going to study, it will reap you the most benefit. Okay, and another one very important thing, see, as the exams approach, most of the students, they have this exam phobia. They start feeling anxious about the exam. They're not sure if they're going to pass the exam or not, how the paper is going to come, whether their preparation is enough or not, etc. Right, so this is something which everybody faces. Okay, but at this point, you've got to understand that whatever has happened. See, whatever preparation you have done so far, it's done, and you can't exactly predict how the paper is going to come. Right, so what you can do most right now is that believe that everything's going to be fine, and then based on that belief, just work, just put in the hours as much as possible. Okay, so just make sure that you do that, and that after the exams are done, you don't have any regrets. At least you can face yourself and you can say that, I gave my best. Okay, so that's pretty much all that we expect from you as well. Right, so that's it from my side, but if you have any more questions, we'll address them. Okay.
Thanks, Yogita. I had two very important things to tell our students. Okay, first is, and it is surprising that though we have provided mock tests for all the subjects, a lot of students have not written the mock test, and that is very, very important, because if you do not have an exam practice before the examination, it will be very difficult for you on the date of the examination. You still have 15 days of time. You can take up at least 3 or 4 mock papers and write them in exam conditions and submit them for evaluations. The mock papers are available as a part of your course, and please do that. It's a request, because I've seen students of the previous 2 attempts, they were so much benefited with the mock test papers. I know of a couple of students who were a couple of days before the exam, they're like, my mock test papers were bad, I did not understand this, I did not understand that. But that actually makes you mentally prepared for the examination. See, at the end, in the exam, in those 3 hours, what you write is that matters. Maybe you will write an 80 marks good paper, or 85 marks good paper, or 90 marks good paper. That much is more than sufficient for you. I can tell you with my experience, with the experience of our earlier students, even a good 80, 85 marks attempted paper will get you good marks. But if you neglect the mock test papers, see, we are giving you mock test papers, we'll correct them, we'll evaluate them, we'll give a feedback on them. Still you are not writing, means something is missing. Sir, my preparation is not 100% complete. It's okay. Even if it's 80% complete, write those exams, mock exams, and get them evaluated, get the feedback, improve them. See, at the end, 1 or 2 marks makes a lot of difference. If you ask someone who has scored 199 out of 400, or 39 out of 100, or 59, there you will see that, oh, had I not done this one single mistake, I would have got an exemption, or I would have passed the exam. Don't let that regret come to you after the exams are over. Now is the time. Please write the mock test papers. And it is not that I will write my mock test paper and I'll evaluate on my own. You will not be able to evaluate your own mock papers. Give them to the experts. Let them give you a proper feedback. That is the first thing. Second thing, some students are asking, whether we have past paper analysis. We do have it on our website. You can go to the free resources section. All the past exam papers have been beautifully analyzed, and which chapter, how many marks every attempt. You get a sense. Like, okay, from this chapter, every attempt, guarantee one question would come in the examination, whether it be for accounts, for law, for taxation, for costing, for EIS, SM, audit, FM, eco, for anything you say, we have it, right? And, another thing is, if you have any doubts, just before the exams, any subject related doubt, please use the, use the forums. You can ask questions there. There's a lot of activity going on there, and that will also help you. Now, let me, look at some specific question. Yes, Anirudh has a question. While doing accounts, is it okay to write working notes first and solve later? Yes, perfectly fine. And we have been telling this in the class. You leave some space for working notes and you do the main solution, or you leave first, leave space for main solution, then the working notes. No problem at all. I have corrected papers. There will be no problem. Then GST, I think she has answered. Yogita, Yogita ma'am, your lectures are awesome. Thanks a lot. Thanks
Thank you.
For that.
Thank you.
Sir, what we're doing examination, how to approach examination. So this is just another examination. Like what you have done at foundation, that is what you'll be doing at inter. You have to go there, make use of the reading time, 15 minutes, write the exams properly, don't get stressed, 80, 85, 90, 95, whatever you can attempt, it's perfectly fine. And write the best what you can in those 3 hours. And as you know, Yogita mentioned, don't start something new or don't start referring to new notes. Oh, I'll refer to some, summary notes and I'll pass the exam. That will not happen. Whatever you have prepared, work on them and you complete it. Is it better to go chapter wise or subject wise? I think right now you should go subject wise. Take 2 subjects or about 2 subjects per day and revise. Or if you are okay, take a single subject per day and revise. That is perfectly fine. This is one question for Yogita. In interpretation status, I am not able to remember theory. How do I crack it?
Okay, so I think we're talking about interpretation of statutes, the last chapter, no?
Yeah.
So see, the thing is you don't have to cram up everything, but you have to understand the concepts. In interpretation also, there are rules of interpretation. Just understand how those rules are applicable. And most importantly, just see the study material questions, what questions have been asked, and the previous year's questions. Mostly the questions from interpretation of statutes, they come from your study mat only, and they're mostly direct questions. There are not case-based questions. So actually, it's pretty easy to crack if you just understand the concepts. Okay, same way in definitions of interpretation of statute also. If you're not able to cram the language, that's okay. But understand the main concepts, the main points that are there. That's it. Okay. So based on that, you will be able to answer. Yeah.
Thanks. Then, how to remember EIS, SM, and audit concepts? Now, when you say remembering is possible only with regular revision and written practice. Okay. Now, one thing I'll tell you my personal experience. This is, we generally get a sense that, or we generally believe that the worst is going to happen and we have forgotten everything. So any student who takes up or who studies believes that paper will be the toughest paper on the planet. Institute will set the toughest paper. We will forget everything in the exams and will not be able to write anything. But let me tell you, that is not how it happens. You still remember some things. You believe or you feel you don't remember everything, but you still remember something. So go with that belief that, yes, I know things, I remember things. Keep on revising whatever you have revised. Maybe out of 10 points, you'll be able to write 6 points. It's okay. But don't think that all the 10 points are forgotten. That is not what will happen in the examination. There is one thing on direct tax. Shivteja, can you give a brief on how to approach direct tax?
Yeah, so with respect to direct tax, understand that it's about 60 marks of your syllabus. When it comes to direct tax, see the prima facie 2 parts of syllabus is your heads of income on one side. Other side, you have got miscellaneous topic like TDS, TCS, advanced tax, and also return of income. So this direct taxes, see, I somehow surprised that a lot of students leave this topic like PGBP and all in choice. Don't do that. See, whatever concepts you know, as Suraj rightly said, that's very important that whatever concepts you know very clearly, just tackle them perfectly. It's absolutely okay. Out of 10 points, we're able to write 7-8 points also, it's still fine. You still get some very good scores. So direct tax, ensure that you practice a lot of questions. You practice. If you just keep on reading provisions, you will not get perfection. Practice is very important. Ensure that you do a couple of mock test papers, RTPs. Don't just see, do it. And as Suraj like I said, under examination condition, you sit and do. Don't 4 friends, do not sit together and tell, you do one question, I will do one question, you do one question. That won't work. Under examination condition, you sit and solve a couple of papers. I'm sure your things are done.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So one
Suraj,
more thing.
I wanted to,
Please, Yogita, please.
Yeah, I wanted to say that because it's the last round of preparation, like students must also focus on presentation. In the examination, whether the student knows or not, that's okay, but still whether you're able to write it nicely or not, whether you're able to depict the answer properly, that is very, very important. So for every subject, there is a set of presentation pattern that you should be aware of. For example, in law, it is important that you first write the provision, then you do the analysis, and then the conclusion. Okay, so for all the answers, you have to be writing like that. So make sure that you see the RTPs and the exam papers, and you also see how the presentation is done. Okay, and accordingly, you should have this, you should create this ability that when you read the question, you understand, first of all, exactly what has been asked, and then in 30 seconds, you should be able to frame the answer. And then based on the presentation that you have done, you write the answer. Okay, so try to focus on presentation also. That's going to help in getting more marks. Yeah.
True.
Thanks a lot, Yuka. And for those of you who are asking like how to answer some questions like accounting standards, case-based, or maybe law case-based question, audit case-based question, we have been telling this in our class very clearly, very often. There is a structure framework. You write what is the provision, you state what are the facts, relate the facts with the provision, and give your conclusion. I'll tell you, a lot of students don't give the conclusion. They'll just write the provision and believe that they'll get the marks. No, you have to answer. Yes, the auditor is right. The auditor is not correct. They can raise so much of deposits, they cannot raise so much of deposits. You have to give your conclusions clearly. That is when you will get mark. Okay, and with stepwise marking, conclusion does carry mark. Now, how many RTPs and past papers we need to cover? As much as possible. If you have finished your revision and you are doing it, start from for the new syllabus, we have again all the RTPs placed in on the website. In the institute website, you'll not get all the RTPs. All the RTPs, past papers, mock test papers, we have, it's available on our platform as well. You can download them and practice them. So what you can do is for past papers, I'll just show it to you once, I'll just share the screen and show it to you what we have for you ready. So once you log in, you will have this, thing called free resources. You can click on this hamburger or burger, what you call, and click on free resources. You get past exam analysis. And in the past exam analysis, for example, CA Inter, you have all the chapters listed. For example, let's say corporate laws. So now corporate laws, you have chapter by chapter. This chapter, this attempt, so many marks. And it topics also, which which question, which bit, something on dividend. So chapter 8, it has come from dividend. Dividend is here. You can see dividend was asked here. Dividend was asked here. Once you go through this, even if you can, cover this from May 19 till December 21, the 6th attempt paper, you get a broad overview of, okay, these are the topics which I should know. And out of this, if you don't know anything, please go back and at least brush upon that topic. That is very, very important, right? So that's available for all the, subjects, and you can see the chapter-wise weightage also. And you can see, almost every time one specific chapter, like question number 1, 2. 2A is from chapter 7, chapter 7, chapter 5, again 7, 5. That also has sometimes a lot of consistencies which you can keep in mind, and you will see that a lot of questions get repeated in RTPs, in MTPs, in past exam papers. A lot of questions get repeated. So even if you are able to run through some of these, that will really help you. But for course users or for others also who want to purchase mock test, I'm not promoting that you should buy our mock test, but definitely you should write. If you don't believe my words, you can go back and check our interviews with past students who have succeeded, who have got ranks. They will tell you the importance of mock test papers. Right now, you'll not realize. And I'll tell you, when I was writing my CA final first paper after 2 years of gap of articleship, I was not able to move my pen because I didn't have exam practice. I know the answer. My hands started paining because I've forgotten to write for continuously for 3 hours. So please, this is a request, a humble request to every one of you. You have access to the resources. Please write, please submit them. And that is what will help you to be better prepared for the examination.
Surajji, hello.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we should also discuss about how the students should be using the 15 minutes that they get before the examination.
I think we should. I think if you can share your thoughts.
Yeah, so what I was thinking is that, sometimes it's difficult for the student to see through the entire paper and read exactly what all different questions are coming in just 15 minutes. So what I used to do is that in the first 15 minutes, I would actually solve one question completely so that I get a heads up. And then when I start the paper, I would just solve that one question quickly because I already know the answer, or I have understood how I'm going to present the answer. And then based on that, I would select the next question. So what were you doing? So like, what was your strategy?
Yeah, so that is one strategy, a good strategy. My strategy used to be, leave the first question because that anyways you have to answer. And then you can run through the other questions and decide which questions you'll be answering first. And, maybe make some important points, write some formula with pencil somewhere lightly. That would definitely help students.
So Shivteja sir can also share his strategy when he was giving the exam.
Yeah, I mean, see, the 15 minutes time is very, very important in terms of having a clarity of thought in terms of how do we plan the next 3 hours. See, my logic is very simple. That 15 minutes has to be a clear-cut strategy for your next 3 hours. Which time, what paper has to, what question has to be answered, that clarity should be there. And at the same time, as an examination tip, by any chance, if any question not getting an answer, don't just get stuck there. Just leave it and move forward. That's very important. If you're stuck there, your time will get completely wasted. Don't ever do that. And I'm observing that in the chat box, there was a question asked by some student asking about TDS, TCS chapter, whether I need to study or revise other chapters. Let me tell you, my dear friend, TDS, TCS topic, almost every time question comes in the exam. If you don't have time, you still have to have a clarity on which section deals with what. Like 194C is contract, J is commission, I is rent, professional. So which case, what rate and all, what limits and all. Just prepare a short summary. That's enough for you. At least that much knowledge if you carry, you'll be able to answer your exam. That's important. So don't skip that topic for sure.
So for the student who has specifically asked this question, look at this. Advanced tax, TDS and TCS, 8, 8, 8, 9, 11 spent. So 8 marks every attempt. And apart from MCQ, you may get a couple of questions in MCQ also. So that is the importance. See, we cannot say, see, some chapters like, sometimes something is not tested. For example, basic concepts, sometimes it is, little tested, less tested, or, clubbing is slightly less tested. Provision for filing is only 4 marks. That is okay. But the core chapters like the 5 heads. Now, don't just look at these 5 heads. Look at this also, computation of total tax liability, because this includes the 5 heads of income. This TDS, very, 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 very important. And see, residential status, almost every attempt on question has come. So how can we, leave any subject or any, chapter and go for the examination? So that is not what we should be doing. Last date for negotiable instrument revision and last date to submit mock test. So to be frank, last date to submit mock test was today, 30th of April, 15 days before the exams. But for the students, we have extended it by, 7 more days. So 7 days before the first group begins and 7 days before the second group begins, you have to submit your mock test papers. Regarding other revision lectures, we will let you know as and when they will be announced. Then, madam, it's one question is for Yogita. Ma'am, how to deal with exam stress?
Yeah, so like I said, no, you see what's gone is gone. How much you have prepared is already done. But as of now, if you waste time in thinking about how the paper is going to come or how much you have completed, that is just going to drain your energy and you will waste your time. Rather, you just be a little more practical. Just be a little more practical and see that you're making the most use of the time that is available. That is the best possible way you can actually make the most of time. If you worry or if you stress, you're going to lose out on a couple of hours every single day. Okay, you might get a little derailed. Okay, if you listen to someone who is a little negative, that is again going to give you a little bit of stress. So it's so much important that you just avoid those negative influences if you have at all. These negative influences could be coming from social media. They could be coming from someone around you also. So if you have anybody like that, including some of your friends who are calling you, okay, or who are telling you that, we have not completed this, we have not completed this, we are worried about this, please just try to avoid all of them. And just try to focus completely into your studies. The more time you're going to just spend with yourself and your teachers and your books at this time, and probably a little bit time that you have, maybe just listen to something motivational or like good music or just meditate a little bit. That is really going to help you. And that way you will make the most of the time that you have. Okay. And stressing is actually just not going to help you. Okay, so take control of your thoughts. Actually, you can switch them off. They're completely in your control. You can switch them off, you can turn them off, and you can actually focus in your study. Just try that. And with practice, you will be able to develop this ability to, calm yourself down. So, yeah.
Thanks, Yogita. Case-based question, I think you have a lot of case-based questions which you have given on YouTube and also as a part of the course. Yeah. So you can, go through them and understand how to approach them. For FM, is it enough to practice study material questions, past exam, MTP, RTP? Yes, that is, I think that covers a lot of questions, so that would be sufficient. Time management during the exams. Now, when we talk about time management, see, it's a 3 hours, exam with 15-minute reading window. And by the end of that 15-minute reading window, you should be largely able to understand which questions you will be dropping off. That is one thing. And second thing is, see, and I've been telling this to all the students, and because I know the way exams paper are set, and even if you pick up any of the past exam papers, 40 to 50 marks of the questions are average questions, meaning to say someone with a decent preparation will be able to attempt them. So certain questions you should complete faster. Don't waste time, I'll crack consolidation, amalgamation, I'll do negotiable instruments, I will do ITC related complex question. Don't target those questions. Target simpler and easier questions. I will finish up, question related to, let us say, pre and post incorporation. It is easy, right? You can directly get 8 marks out of 8 marks in that. So do these questions first and then focus on the tougher questions. And a rule of thumb, 1.8 minutes per mark. And in and around that time, you should be able to finish your question. And you will get this practice only by writing mock test papers. So Shivteja, in registration chapter, procedure for registration, should we write exactly as they have given, or we can frame sentences because it's a large question?
See, that is a topic in terms of section 25 procedure for registration. You need not frame a complete paragraph story as such in terms of 7 working days, 30 working days, all that story. You need not write as a paragraph as such. You can frame sentences and write it, but ensure that procedure is properly answered. And also write about GST REG 01, REG 06 about the application and registration certificate. That will fetch you more marks. And just to add on a very lighter note, what Suraj has said, guys, whenever we go for any marriage or any event or any function, I'm not sure about everybody, but I primarily go for enjoying the food there. Whenever we go for a food section, first, I'm not sure about you guys, but what I generally do is I'll first look at all the counters first. I'll check which food looks interesting. Then I'll make a frame of my mind what to eat, and then with what dessert or what dish I want to complete my food. In the same way, your 15 minutes planned very effectively so that after 3 hours, your brain, your heart, your stomach, everything is happy. Just do that.
So, and also make it sure if you go to some marriages, if some counter is crowded, go to that counter at the last. Otherwise, you will waste your time. Okay. Perfect. So if a question, I think a nice, this we can use it again and again. I think a very nice way to, present it. That's a very nice thing, right? So that's on a lighter note, right? So we don't want to take much of your time, right? Because this is your key preparation time, and you should be focusing on preparation. So that is what we had from our side. There are some more questions coming up. Any changes in MCQ module? It's okay. Even if the MCQ module has changed, if your concepts are right, you'll be able to solve them. That's not a problem.
And just to add on, whatever MCQs have been modified, we have updated the MCQs with the latest amendment.
Yeah, we have already done that.
From that perspective, we have done it.
Correct. And is interest on delayed payment important? Yes, that is somehow important. Yes. How to deal with costing? See, I cannot answer a generic question, but costing is one subject where even I was scared. I was like, and standard costing especially. So again, that even in that paper, write one mock test, and even if you are able to attempt 85-90 marks, it will be very good attempt. Try to do easier chapters first, the things which you can understand easily. And costing, there is very little to memorize, and it is more about logics. Okay, so they can ask any kind of question. It will be more about your logical application. If you find any question complex, language not understandable, do it at the end. Again, I'm repeating this for all the students, especially for accounting, FM, taxation, and costing, where you have numericals and where you need a lot of time to solve. You get 16 marks question, 20 marks question. Don't get stuck to a question, or don't fall in love with the question. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, you have started consolidation or amalgamation. Now, after some time, you got stuck. Leave it there, move on to the next question, and come back to it later. Don't waste your 1.5 hour time with one single question of 20 marks. Okay, that is what I have for practical papers. For theory papers, if Yogita, you have something specific on those lines, if you can share, then we can conclude the session.
See, when you're solving the paper, like Sir said, like Surajji said, you have to ensure that you're completing 1 mark in 1.8 minutes. Okay, so make sure that whenever you start a question, you see the number of marks that are there, and accordingly keep a track of time, and then complete that answer in that much time. So you have to be writing really, really fast if you really want to complete 90% of the paper, which is required if you really want to get maximum marks possible. Okay, so make sure you're tracking your time, and at the same time you're maintaining the presentation. So you have to do so many things together. You have to make the right choice of question also. You have to maintain your speed also. You have to keep checking the time also, so that you just And if you're stuck at any question, you could jump to the next one also. So to do all of these things, you kind of need to be a little relaxed and calm. Okay, so try to stay calm. And also, after you complete your paper, before you go for your paper, try not to interact with a lot of people. Actually, don't interact with anybody. Just straight up go to the exam room, give your exam, and then come out of it. Don't talk to anybody. You don't have to discuss your paper with anybody. Just come back and just study for the next one. Right now, for theory also, you just have to ensure that you maintain the presentation, right? And you maintain the speed. So that's pretty much all. And yeah, you also have to underline wherever there are important words. There are keywords. You have to write in pointed manner, right? So you have to ensure these small presentation tips to ensure you get maximum marks.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, so one thing what Yogita said, again, I would like to re-emphasize. I lost 6 marks in my CA final because I discussed one question with my friend before I entered the examination. I was aware of the amendment. He said it is not amended, and I lost 6 marks straight away out of that. Okay, that costed me IR1, by the way. And after the exams, take the paper, keep it inside a bag, or come back home and give it to your your family members and tell them that please don't give that paper back to me till my exams are over. Don't audit, don't evaluate, do nothing. Focus on the next exam, write the next exam. Whatever has happened in the current exam, you have to forget it. You have to be Ghazni, actually. 15 minutes after the exams, you forget whatever you have written in the exams and focus on the next exam so that your mind space is free for the next paper. Right? Anything lastly, should we attempt MCQ first or leave it at the last? It depends on you. If you feel MCQs are easy, finish them first, take the extra time to write the theory part. If you think no, MCQs are tricky, first do the theory, in between you can do MCQs, and towards then you can again do theory. It's up to you. Yes, Yudhija, anything specific you had to highlight what we have not covered, or then we can.
Yeah, the last thing which I definitely want to say is that, guys, 15 days time, so don't waste your time at all. And please do make sure of using the forum option. We are always there to definitely answer your queries, and we are more than happy and more than aggressive to answer your queries. So feel free to ask any question, any query you've got. Subject-wise, you can raise a query there in the forums, and we'll definitely be happy to reply to your query. And definitely as quickly as possible, we'll reply for sure. That's our commitment. So ensure that any queries you have, feel free to get back and ask us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Yudhija. Thanks, Yogita, for the wonderful insights. And for students, I need one commitment from your side that I should receive from each one of you at least 2 marks, in the next 15 days. I'll be personally, waiting for the mock test papers from our students, and and after the exams, you can thank us because you'll have a very good practice, and you'll say, thanks to the mocks paper, we could do better in the examination. All the best for your exams. Don't get distracted. Be away from social media. Be away from, as Yogita said, friends will keep on talking about negative things only. 15 days of your preparation and 15 days of your exams. May month, conquer it. All the best.